Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Quick Esports League in-season cup grand finals. That's right, here on Fireside, we have got a weekend treat for y'all. It's going to be froyotech versus the Mongolz, I believe, as they are going to be called, at least for tonight. My name's Tcmano. I am joined by Wild Rumpus. We got siyo, aka Josh, aka Jay, on production. And you better strap yourselves in because this is going to be a best of 5 potential nail biter. And I mean, I'm not saying we are going to go to all 5 maps, Rumpus, but we might, and we might be in for a lot of TF2.
Yeah, absolutely. Fitting for a grand finals. And since these aren't RGL teams that we're used to seeing, why don't we introduce rosters quickly? We do have froyotech, and they are going to be playing with Artist on demo. Patty and Loaf are going to be the soldier duo. They do have Hubert Medic. Vanny's here on scout. I don't know who their other scout is at the moment. Let me tab out and check because they haven't joined the server quite yet.
I think Eric.
Say Eric. Interesting. Not Eric. Habib.
Oh, Habib.
Okay,
Habib,
that
okay.
makes sense. Short.
All right. And then over on the Mongolz with a Z at the end, not an S, a Z at the end of it, it's going to be Speedy and JT as the scouts. I believe JT's the flank scout, pocket scout is going to be Speedy. You've got Donovan and Zam as the 2 soldiers, Sai on Demo Man, and then you've got June on Medic. And if you don't know who June is, don't worry. I didn't either. They are a top tier ETFTL Premiership Medic, and they just played on Mandem in the most recent ETF2L season. So even though you may not know them over in North America, don't worry, they have got a lot of experience and pedigree already to them. So hopefully, it's going to be an easy fit. Of course, both of these, even though froyotech is a recognizable RGL name, having Artist and Loaf is going to be a bit different. So it's not like they're actually here. It's a little bit more than a pug scrim for some of these guys, but still, they made it to the grand finals, and they're all really capable invite players. So it should be a good game regardless.
Yeah, and that's actually kind of what I like about cups. I've been harassing Arcadia about RGL running them more often, is because you have more branching out and like different crops of players that are willing to play together. Because if you're talking an 8-week season plus playoffs, then I, and I'm sure many others, are going to be very picky about who you play with because you want that to be a good experience if you're kind of locked in. But if we're talking a cup that, is only a fraction of that time, then yeah, people are going to be much more willing to sort of scrap stuff together. And then you get kind of that cross pollination between different, friend groups and whatnot. So it's cool to see.
It is really cool to see, and hopefully it'll work out for both of these teams, and we'll have a really great match. But the first map is going to be Metalworks, and if you remember correctly, I did say best of 5. I wasn't joking on that. So the 5 maps that we may potentially see is going to be Metalworks and Gully and Snakewater. That's going to be the first 3, and we're definitely going to see those. Actually, yeah, definitely going to see those. And then Process going to be the 4th one. And then if we get to it, Sultry is going to be the 5th. So no King of the Hill tonight, all straight control points from here. So don't have to worry about any product sniper or bagel fast cap shenanigans, but still a lot of variety on the board. And we'll hopefully see a lot of cool TF2 gameplay.
Yeah, absolutely. So the rest of our actually never mind. I mean, what are your thoughts here for Metalworks? And I mean, what are your thoughts on these teams in general? Because obviously one of them is under the moniker of froyotech, which is a name that carries some weight and some expectations. But as you mentioned, they do have some ringer. Obviously, artists can kind of fill in as just the demo goat. But Loaf is kind of a question mark. And meanwhile, on the other side, I mean, I don't know if JT has played a season of Invite before. June, of course, is a very strong medic, but also has 140 ping, which honestly, ping probably going to matter less on a class like medic than maybe like a soldier or a demo. But, you know, when it comes time to surf rockets and things like that, you are definitely going to be at more of a disadvantage.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's not gonna, like you said, not gonna be as bad, especially on demo where you were just all projectile. But for those super crucial moments where like 1 millisecond away from a right click could either save the day or be a disaster for your team, it can definitely be a little bit of a something that holds you back. But I do agree that artist very capable. Obviously, froyotech has Logan on demo, and I think that depending on the day, artist, Habib, and Logan are all contenders for the best North American demo. Depending on who you ask, and depending on the team and who they're playing, where they're playing, I think you could all really see them as the best in their own right. So that's not going to be too much of a switch up for froyotech. Obviously, artist kind of known for his lock and load shenanigans, but Logan has been doing that already this season, so they should be well used to playing around it. Loaf is kind of a little bit the outlier. I don't think they've played for Froyotech before, so
No.
definitely going to have to be a little bit of a swap up there. Obviously, going to be taking in Laz's role. Patty and Laz, they've been kind of going back and forth, but now I think it's going to be Patty back on Pocket Soldier and Loaf is going to be roaming. Either way, I'm sure if it doesn't work, they'll just change things up and keep things going because that's kind of the beauty of Froyotech. When you have Banny, Habib, Patty, you can just put them into like almost any class on that team and like they'll be able to be fine. So they're very flexible. So I think if Froyotech are having problems, they are just a class swap away from being able to, fix that.
Yeah, true. It's worth mentioning as well. I don't know if we mentioned this, but there's a pretty sizable prize pool for this. So both of these teams, at the bare minimum, are walking away with $200 for second place. However, the first place team is going to get another 150 on top of that for 350 total, which is definitely enough for these teams to be pretty serious about something like this.
Yeah, no, it is serious for these teams. It is enough, sorry, for these teams to be serious because we just had. I don't want to plug it or anything, but we just had this amazing LAN. This super cool international LAN where a
Mhm.
lot of these players were at, and they were playing and competing. And then we've also got the RGO LAN coming up, and LANs are great, but it's kind of expensive to go. And I'm not saying this is going to cover anyone's first class ticket or anything, but any dosh for these guys is going to be helpful on their journey to various lands. So there definitely a lot of reason to play and try and be serious and try and see if you can maybe get that nice 350 prize pool. But I mean, as we're kind of waiting for these teams to ready up and, we're just kind of doing the little SDR and trying to figure out the best way to get to the server with the least amount of ping. What are your predictions, at least for this first map and the series overall? I think for the series, I'm thinking a 3-1 Froyotech. I think there's a world where Mongols, they get a map. I think it's doable. I don't know what the pick bans for this were, so I don't know what Mongols picked versus what Froyotech picked, but I could see them potentially getting a map off of Froyotech, especially with the fact that, this is a newer roster, all that type of stuff. But I think at the end of the day, it's Froyotech's game to lose.
Yeah, I honestly think it's going to be a Froyo 3-0, all things considered, because, and we are actually going live here to the very first mid here on Metalworks. The reason I'm saying that is because I don't think that Froyo are missing any members that are absolutely crucial to the team environment, I suppose. You can kind of function similarly, slotting out like Laz for another soldier. But there isn't really like a super X Factor player on Red that really screams out as like they're gonna be a huge contributor as far as like the comms and the direction goes.
We'll have to see as we do go live. JT underneath the point, trying to submarine it a little bit. Froyotech with the high ground. The soldiers just bombing in. Loaf is going to commit a little bit onto the demo. Doesn't find the mark. Unfortunate for him. Banny is going to find the trade out onto Zam. So it's going to be equal numbers. Donovan bombing across the point is going to get counter jumped by the soldier. Not going to be able to trade out. Patty gets that pick, and now with the player advantage, Froyotech should be able to get the mid. Good fight coming out from Mongolz, but at the end of the day, just the bombs not finding the mark. That's going to be Froyotech taking the first mid.
Yeah, early on, things actually were pretty scary for Hubert, who took a bomb, surfed it nicely enough to not catch the second rocket, But we do see a sack here from Patty. Finds the demo. Okay, so that is the first domino down, as he would put it. And Froyo certainly going to continue pressuring. Actually getting forced here. It will be an exchange. Obviously looking for some kills here. More flashes for red, but they're out and they find that kill. Okay, so post-Uber, definitely looking Froyo favored at the moment. Loaf bombing in, gets some damage. Should trade out with Speedy. There we go. And Zam is going to die as well. So just finding the kills that needed to happen in that Uber exchange turned into more kills in the post. Ooh, Donovan going for a play, gets shut down as well. So that's yet another death here on last.
Yeah, there's only going to be 3 up for the Mongols. They do have a heavy. Now Speedy does come up, so they have a little bit more. They get the early pick on the Beep, which is actually going to be pretty good. Banny jumping on the point. There's just so much Captain. They have to stand on it. They are going to get the 2 picks, and that should be enough to secure them to last. That heavy working out really, really well. Yeah, it's going to be a very late death for Hubert. And that's going to be a very, very long respawn and a lot of Uber advantage for Mongol. So they're going to be able to get onto second, but Habib is come up on Sniper.
Yeah, this is a good Sniper time. I'm surprised, actually, Habib isn't getting more aggressive, because I feel like a Sniper peeking, like, underpass or something would have been kind of nice. Finds a kill anyway, so got the value on the class. And actually, Donovan dying to a trap. Down 3 now for the Mongols, and they pop Uber. Doesn't look like anyone's caught. In fact, Forever just staying in. And yeah, this is now fantastic for them. That being said, Hubert was such a late death, and so, oh, never mind, June dies. So that the fact that Hubert was only like 15% ad no longer matters. It is now effectively full ad. That being said, Freo are kind of stuck with the Sniper into last. So there's that to consider. Honestly, Habib could go back and switch off if he were so inclined. But yeah, we'll see what Freo do with their 50 ad.
Yep, they've got a lot to work with. Habib just going to be peeking the shutter door, seeing if he can maybe get a nice opening frag for Froyo. It's not going to be necessary because this Uber should hopefully do the majority of the work for them. Donovan just jumping around, and that's going to be the opening frag. So unfortunate for Donovan, just trying to maybe peek and see if he can maybe get in. Habib actually going for a deep peek, almost got taken down there, and that wouldn't have been good for froyotech. They still would have gone, but now Habib is 22 health, kind of waiting for an arrow before froyotech go. Loaf spams down the sentry gun, so they're going to have a lot more room to play with. They get in so deep before having to use Zam. Going to be taking down Donovan as well with a nice headshot from Habib. They have the heavy up, but no one's there to block the point, and froyotech going to get the easy cap 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, the door just got flung wide open with Donovan getting picked off. And Freo were able to then just try push the door that Donovan was watching. They were perfectly patient, spam down the gun before even using Uber. And then only when a soldier started to get active and bomb for the force did they pop, collect that kill, and then just play the point after.
Now on to the second mid. Like you said, the first time it was a little bit scary for Hubert. Took a bit of damage, but no one was able to clean up off of it. This time the soldiers, Zam, are going in super deep. They do find one of the artists, but they lose 3 for it, including their medic. Habib in the backline is just absolutely farming, cleaning house. Loaf trying to take the 1v1 with Donovan, not going to be able to get in as Hubert does have someone on this case. It is going to be JT and Zam, neither find the mark, and now Donovan has the opportunity. Oh my god, gets air shot, but still hits the rockets on Hubert and gets the kill anyways.
That is brutal, and both soldiers just staring at the enemy soldier who they just air shot, then 2 rocket Hubert. That is brutal. June did die on mid, so it's not going to be a ton of ad for the Mongols, but still some ad. That being said, since Freo won the mid, they have mid here, and they're going to be able to set up disad. And Habib is rolling out Sniper yet again here on disad mid. Last time around, this went great for Freo. Habib found a pick, Artist found a kill, someone else found a kill who I don't remember. Now we're going to see if they can replicate that.
Yeah, Habib a lot more far forward than he was previously, because froyotech have a little bit of time to get into position. I think they might have spotted the Sniper. Donovan might have had the opportunity to call it. There's a lot of froyotech players a lot closer than they were previously. They are going to lose one, and Bandy Psych up so deep right now. Speedy trying to clean house. Over in-house is going to be able to get 2. Hubert falls as well. There's only one in the backlines. It's going to be Patty. Artist managing to get back up, but I think they kind of know about Patty's whereabouts. They have a few people looking around. Zam is kind of trying to keep tabs on the backlines, but that was a really good Uber from the Mongols.
Yeah, I honestly don't know about that from Froyo, particularly like Banny being so forward in Valley. Because when your sniper is that deep and gets spotted, especially when the other team just knows you have a sniper, so it looks like Froyo trying to fight this actually off of Patty being behind to maybe get a kill or something. Patty activating now, bombing in. They get 2 kills. Okay, so this is now going great for Froyo. June, 80%. With 3 kills, however, the Uber's not going to matter so much. Just a matter of whether it is... Oh my god, it's just a full wipe. Crazy aggression there from Froyo. But just to finish that earlier thought, when your sniper gets spotted like that, a lot of teams, their just default plan is to pop through against a sniper. So I feel like Froyo could have been, you know, expecting that more because it was kind of a clear idea.
Yeah, they are going to find one of Patty as they try and pressure out from the forward spawn, not going to get anything else. And at most, that might just slow froyotech down a bit. They might wait until Patty respawns, but they have enough Uber advantage that it doesn't even matter. They should still be able to go in. Silver linings that JT might have a bit more time to build that sentry gun up. Gets it to level 2, but froyotech are now coming in over through the elbow. They find the sentry gun. Banny immediately playing the point. Gonna get reflash. Really great stuff from Hubert. But the heavy late game comes out, takes down Banny. Loaf going down as well. But they do lose 2 over on the Mongols. June gonna go down, and there's still Patty kind of waddling around the point. Is finally gonna fall to the heavy. So it has been a victorious last hold for the Mongols. Hubert managing to escape, though. It's going to be crucial for froyotech as Sai really wants that kill. But they are going to be able to get out of their last. But the heal advantage for froyotech might mean that they immediately push in.
Yeah, Hubert living there and June dying is actually really important. The heavy was just in a position that there was no focus fire to be able to take him out. So it was going to be a hold no matter what. But having some slim ad here into last again is quite nice. Gun is being built relatively late, I would say. So it might only be level 2 yet again. And yeah, Froyo just kind of get to try the same thing over again. I think that this time around, the margins are a little narrower. Looks like they want to go main with it. And 95, so we'll see this super quite soon.
They are going to go in. Donovan kind of hiding over in Toxic is going to be taken down. So that's going to be an early pick for froyotech. Not even having to use the Uber. They get both soldiers. That's going to be no one to block the point. June, however, is very close to Uber. Is going to be able to get it, but they still have to play this very, very well as Habib gets onto the point. The froyotech soldiers bombing around, kind of causing a little bit of chaos. Loaf actually going to win the 1 versus Speedy. That's going to be huge. Bombs onto June and the follow-up from Patty. The froyotech soldiers having a field day, and that's going to be 2-0 for Froyo.
Yeah, a couple players got dropped there, but it ended up working out regardless for Froyo. And I really like that play where they were a little sussed out by the Ubers. They did have playable ad there, but, you know, you don't know necessarily that you do. So they instead took the opportunity to peek the door and pressure it. And since, you know, the rest of the team was playing passively, or the enemy team was playing passively, they ended up converting a couple kills.
They did, and that was enough to get them the round as we go in. Habib actually taking a rocket to the face. He's going to have to back up for some heals. The soldiers not being aggressive this time. Patty jumping forward, making a little bit of space. Loaf kind of going for the fadeaway. Tries to commit, actually gets onto JT, and is going to live in behind as Donovan bombs onto Hubert. Absolutely does so much damage. Might be able to get on the artist who's stuck over by Lunchbox. Is going to be able to get him, and that was initially looking, I think, pretty good for Froyo. Loaf with that pick onto JT, but then the counter aggression coming out from them on Mongolz was just too much.
Yeah, and now Mongolz, this might be the first time they've been on Froyo's side of the map, and in spectacular fashion as well, because they have full ad into last. Looks like the gun is going up here from Banny. Yeah, I mean, point just getting capped. Plenty of time for Mongolz to really do whatever they want. It's still 70 ad after 2 is capped. They can buff everybody up. We'll see what door they choose. I mean, usually going through left is a common one, so wouldn't shock me. Oh, I'm getting that sentry gun bug where Speedy is bringing in a level 2 with him. That's fun. Okay, going straight to point. A lot of cap time as well. That might just win it. Oh, dies for the point, but still, it's a sliver away. So much damage for the red team. Man, that was very, very close. Yeah, like an extra 1/8 of a second there on point from anyone, and that is a round.
Yeah, that was so close for the Mongols. Donovan had a huge bomb. There were so many weak players on froyotech, but just able to hold on to the point and get in onto second. Hubert not dying means that they've got pretty good Uber advantage to go forward with if they want to. They're probably just going to wait for their respawners. Loaf now coming up and is going to be able to make his way back to the rest of the team. Thing is, June already has 80%, so froyotech, they have to go quick here unless they get caught out by the Uber. They do pop. Are they going to be able to catch anyone, though?
Yeah, we're probably going to see an immediate repop as well. Yeah,
oh, yeah, they are.
Everyone's caught as well. Hubert especially, that is the important kill to get. We do find him. Sai dies, however, which is kind of sketchy. And now Froyo converging on June. Just trying to survive, but unable to. Yeah, Mongolz just really needed to get a lot of kills there in that Uber very quickly. Otherwise, the post was going to be kind of sketchy, as we saw.
Yeah, it was very sketchy for the Mongols. Sai once again trapped in the forward spawn. Again, trying to see if he can maybe get a cheeky pick up on the sniper. And of course, this isn't an actual RGL match, but we've seen a little bit of Sai off-classing from Demo. He tried to go Spy earlier in one of the matches, and it didn't really work out. Having the Demo is just too powerful, but, you know, kind of showing that I guess maybe even Demos can off-class as well. He's still in the forward spawn. I don't think they know. You would expect the Demo to have back spawned by now, but he's...
I don't know what he's achieving here.
Okay, now he does back spawn. He's up as it seems like maybe the call was said that froyotech is coming in as they're trying to pressure a little bit. There's going to be a bomb as Sam craters to his death, and now with that pick, froyotech are just going to take more and more space.
Yep, and actually going to find a kill onto Sai as well. Oh, that being said...
Oh my god!
Immediately 2 kills in the favor of the Mongols. Looks like Habib actually wanted to take an exchange there, but some miscommunication got dropped. And now Hubert will be kill binding as the only player alive. Certainly going to be dying afterwards. And the other team can just pet the medic, give him an even later spawn.
Yeah, that was the good call from Hubert, an unfortunate situation to be in, but very fortunate if you are the Mongols. However, Patty is going for the back half. That is going to draw a few eyes. There's a soldier coming back to face. It is going to be Donovan. JT trying to cut them off as the passives. Everyone else on froyotech have basically given up mid now, especially with Patty being down, but this time it's going to be Banny up on Sniper. He's looking down Valley into Alley. And but that's not where the Mongols are going. They are going through house, and Banny might get cut off here.
Yeah, best Banny can look for is a
but Artist.
But the flank is... Oh, yeah, Artist finds 2. Banny gets cleared. Not before finding June, though. Oh, man, the flank was a little slow getting through Valley. I mean, obviously, you're not expecting there to be an enemy sniper behind your team, but that was just unfortunate with Banny able to find June there. The fight was gonna go poorly anyway for the Mongols with Artist finding those 2 kills, but it ended up going just catastrophically wrong for them. As now Froyo with full ad, I mean, if they're fast into 2, they can take this Uber into last and potentially get a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, and then once you let froyotech get a 3-0 lead, it can be so difficult to try and claw it back, but you know, the Mongols, they've still got time to do it. The question is, are they going to be able to execute it on froyotech? They push forward. Big bomb coming in from Patty lands onto Speedy, and they take this Uber in as well, trying to just collapse on these Mongols players as they back up. They're all so weak. Zam and Sai both in the red digit HP pool, but froyotech, they've got a little bit of player advantage. They got a lot of space to work with. Loaf bombing in does a lot of damage on the Zam. JT is going to be able to get the trade out. They don't have seconds, so they can't really play the point. They are going to have to back up, and Hubert... Yeah, Hubert's going to fall. It's going to be a bomb from Patty. He's going to be able to trade out with JT, so that might stop Mongols from pushing out of last just a little bit, but froyotech kind of jumping the gun.
Yeah, I understand the objective there from Froyo is, you know, you want to kill June or force June so that it's not disad. However, when you don't have 2, I mean, being able to pressure the point on last is just such a massive asset to have and will really draw out those players. Oh, Loaf going for a play there. It's really going to draw out those players and make the force more likely. But without 2, I mean, you really aren't applying that much pressure, right? The other team can kind of just duck into spawn, refight when their spawners show up with the number advantage. And yeah, Hubert lingering too long ends up going down. And now 50 disad on Froyo's second.
Yep, froyotech on the back foot, and Mongolz trying to go forward. They're making their way through Valley. They have to dodge the sticky traps. I kind of got them out last time. Good job from Speedy clearing those. As froyotech, they're trying to pressure. They're very close to their own Uber, so they want to see if they can maybe stay and use this Uber to help defend the point. Hubert now has Patty and Loaf, the two soldiers on froyotech, very, very weak. Loaf is going to go down. Hubert gets knocked up in the sky, is going to have to use the Uber. They are going to lose 2 on the Mongolz, but they are going to have this Uber to use much, much later. Question is, are they going to go in with it? They do. JT inside jumping forward. Hubert going to be disconnected. Does JT go for the medic? No, instead going to fight the 2 scouts over in lower by himself. And he's just going to get cleaned up. Sam arriving just a little bit too late to the party. And now it's only going to be Sai and June trying to escape. But Sai absolutely nukes all of them. Insane stuff from him. Enough to defend him and his medic. And just with that, that's going to stop froyotech from pushing on the mid.
Yeah, absolutely. Froyo were going to get mid there. And yeah, Sai just going huge, able to stop that in its tracks. And Ubers are basically even as well, which actually... Hubert used much sooner, so I think that the Mongols are going to expect Froyo to have a little bit of ad here. And actually, by now, they have ended up building about that same amount of ad. However, we'll see if Froyo do anything with it. 90% now, and they're not going, so I'm assuming they're playing this evens. So Mongols, once they get Uber, they're going to be like, okay, they're not pushing. Let's go pressure. And yeah, we'll see what the Mongols can cook up on their sack.
Yeah, froyotech have been opting to have a sniper. It's usually been Habib, and they've had pretty good success with it. Habib has been on fire, kind of been on fire this whole season when he's been on sniper. So Mongols are going to be looking to try and replicate that success as they got everyone over in Valley, or at least Donovan, who's maybe trying to wait for a buff before they goes for the sack. And here comes Donovan, going to be sacking and tries to get on the Hubert, recognize he's too far away, is actually going to be able to get the trade on Bandy and getting Loaf as well. That might be enough for them just to try and make this, turn this into a dry push. And I think froyotech are going to give it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Some, not premature necessarily, but the counter aggression from Froyo just didn't work out. Oh man, Patty is just sending it through this door. Good lord. Down he goes. And now Habib dies. Oh man, and Hubert drops!
Sai guy! Absolute insanity. He just got a 4K like it was nothing. He just walked through the door, piped Hubert, piped Habib, piped Artis. He piped the whole world. Loaf is here over on the second point, trying to do anything at all, is not going to be able to get a pick to salvage it, and that's going to be the first round for Mongolz. Sai absolutely popped off.
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of these fights, I mean, it could just be confirmation bias, because you really notice the fights where Froyo kind of overheats and gets too crazy, and it really punishes them. But we've seen plenty of fights where Froyo got really crazy and ended up wiping the other team. But yeah, that kind of fight on your own too, well, if you mess up and end up wiping, then it is a absolutely free round for the other team.
As we go in on to another mid, Hubert again taking a little bit of damage, but still going to be playing far forward with froyotech. Zam bombing in, does a lot of damage to Hubert. Hubert going to have to back up. Same thing where everyone else on froyotech, because they're also weak. Donovan with the behind play takes down Artis. Hubert disconnected. Loaf is going to have to jump back. Banny as well running away, so froyotech going to have to give up this mid. Sai just wandering forward, grenade launcher in hand, just waiting to see if there's someone he can catch out, but they've all backed up. Loaf is hiding on the vents, might be able to get a very cheeky soldier pick, and that might be enough to give froyotech some type of room here.
Yeah, and it looks like Mongolz will be backing up. One thing to mention as well is while at the start, actually, Froyo getting a little crazy here, going to be peeking, just sending it through house, actually. It will be an exchange in all likelihood. Much better Uber from Red, though. They use a lot later. Looks like Froyo are able to get through the doors here for the post, so they will not be caught. Ooh, the flank actually getting very active. Loaf going in. Finds a trade onto Speedy. Oh, yeah, picks going in the favor of Froyo. That is a very nice post-Uber collapse. And I was about to say that Mongolz are definitely a crop of players that can ride out momentum, but Froyo kind of stopping that after losing the mid.
Yeah, that's the thing about froyotech. Even if your team has momentum, they just have this uncanny ability to just swing it right back in their favor at the drop of a hat. But someone trying to do that exact same thing. JT up on Sniper, going to be looking down over into House's froyotech. He might have been able to spot. He gets on the Hubert with the body shot. He was spotting the cross, and now froyotech, they're just going to all in, see if they can maybe equalize the score and get in onto June. There's going to be a soldier in behind, has the opportunity to go for the rockets. June managing to survive Sai with the stickies on the shutter door, and all of the projectile spam just too much for froyotech to handle. That's a full wipe, Rumpus.
Absolutely. And I really like the discipline here from JT. A lot of Scout mains would stay on Sniper here after dropping the med and being like, oh, I'm feeling hot. But no, Scout is definitely a better class to have here. Notice someone on Froyo has continually been disconnecting and reconnecting. I'm not sure who that is. I'll have to pay attention next time. But nonetheless, still 80 ad for the Mongolz. They are dry pushing 2 with absolutely no resistance. So it should be pretty straightforward for them to go last with this Uber. We'll see if it's enough. Vanny actually has some time to put a more sneaky sentry gun spot under the bridge. That does watch point. We'll see how that gets dealt with. But Patty dying on the door.
Oh, that's not going to be a good start for this defense for froyotech. They take down the sentry gun. They haven't really gotten any cap time. The one silver lining for froyotech, and now Hubert very, very close, but they lose their demo, and there's going to be no one to block the point. They finally do get the Uber, but it's only going to be Banny and Hubert. They just have to wait out this Uber and then stand on the point. They're standing on it, and they can't block it. They get knocked off, and that's going to be 2-2, a tie game.
Yeah, I mean, just getting the initial kill on the soldier holding the door with an Uber is already just such a great start. But then Flank got through very cleanly and were able to just 2v1 Artist, who was preoccupied with the other team's combo. And yeah, from there, pieces just kind of fell. Even Freyo getting their Uber is just, as we saw, not enough with only 2 players alive.
Not enough, and it seems like the Mongolz picking up a little bit of steam, managing to equalize it, and this time the soldier's going in very, very deep. Sam just collapsing on the Hubert and gets him with the rocket. Gets another on the Patty, but both soldiers actually 3 down on the Mongolz, so I think they might just back up. JT is already 2 committed, is going to have to commit and try and see if he can get a trade. Not going to find it, so froyotech, they are going to get mid, but now Speedy, June, they're going to be back on their last, going to wait for the respawners. They're going to have a lot of ground to try and make up, but they are going to have that ever-important Uber advantage at their side.
Yeah, it's tough because, honestly, you've got your work cut out for you if you're the Mongolz here. Because not only do Froyo have 2, but you have to clear so much and be so meticulous with this push out that, honestly, it's going to be a little... Yeah, and there goes JT to a trap. It's going to be a little difficult to even get mid this ad, let alone second, actually, as Speedy. Okay, they do take the Uber. They are finding some kills. Okay, Flank is getting shoved, though. Banny going to last. Oh, man, and he's not getting stopped. Oh, that is just around. Good lord.
Yeah, that was a really great play from froyotech. Obviously, it all started with, I think it was Artist getting the pick onto, I'm not sure who was it, might have been one of his scouts, but from there, froyotech, they just push in and they kind of distract everyone on Mongolz from capping the point. They kind of go for the simultaneous Uber Force play, back cap play, and just push all at once. And it's just too much for the Mongolz to keep track of. So they are making it a 3-2 game. And froyotech coming back into it a little bit with that really great play. Habib can be able to take down Sai immediately. No demo. The Mongolz might just immediately try and leave mid. JT very weak, is going to get taken down. And froyotech having a much better start to this mid than last time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just an instant demo pick. In most cases, just stops a mid outright. Honestly, like a demo for soldier trade a lot of the time is enough for a team to just leave. Oh, we see the double soldier bomb in alley here. Hubert didn't have an Uber to use, so if those soldiers got enough damage, then yeah, there's like no force happening. You're just collecting kills and trading out. So valiant effort there, does not work out, and that was a risky play because now we're seeing Froyo a full dry push here. Patty bombing in to the point. It is even Ubers. Patty actually goes down but gets traded out with JT. Uber gets popped from the red team, and they're not really finding any value with it.
Sam might go down.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, Banny's living. But still, ultimately, even Banny living or dying doesn't change the fact that Hubert has full ad over June. And yeah, one thing actually, well, okay, well, I'll mention this after the push.
We'll have to see if froyotech are successful, as they are going to be able to come in. They don't find any immediate opening picks, but JT might get caught trying to get into a spawn door, and does. Artist with the juggle. June not going to have any chance to try and build Uber. They try and collapse onto Hubert, but that's not the target. froyotech just cleaning everyone up. It's really just the 2 soldiers left alive, and they're not going to be able to do anything. 4-2 for froyotech, and they're looking a lot more confident after those 2 rounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what I was going to mention is that the rule set is different here than it usually is, at least for RGL. I know I was looking in chat, so Quickies, Lock, and Market Gardener are all banned, but notably only 1 off class at a time. So a very standard and a very difficult hold to break on Metalworks last is going to be a Gun Pyro. Can't do that here.
That may explain a little bit of the success that we've seen from teams being able to push in. Loaf going to go in for the bomb. Nice air shot onto Sai. Is managing to stay alive, but the soldiers just bombing in, not finding anything. Sai once again with a couple of pipes, managing to protect his medic. And June staying alive, but they want to try and fight this. They're a little bit disconnected, though. froyotech all clumped up on the point. June not near the rest of the combos, taking a lot of damage, having to dodge all these pipes, and he's just barely going to get out. Habib chases him very deep to try and get it. That might be enough for them to comfortably stay on to second. JT just kind of peeking a little bit. Donovan as well. They might try and refight this, actually. They're thinking about it. Speedy might just want to try and go in for the Ubers. Donovan goes in for a huge bomb. Yeah,
ambitious play from Habib. The fact that Freo have Uber here means that that pick for Mongolz doesn't matter so much necessarily. That being said, the exchange is definitely going... never mind. Now it went nicely as June finds a kill onto Hubert, but dies herself. And actually, it looks like the pieces are falling in the favor of Mongolz. Sai has to hit a pipe here, cannot reload it in time. And Habib, after being the first one to die, is able to in the post-Uber fight and clean up.
Yep, I think, honestly, at the end of the day, it's just going to end with, especially with that Donovan pick, it's just going to end with Mongolz probably staying on second and froyotech kind of relegated to mid. So all of that fighting after froyotech won the point, it's basically all for naught. Both medics dying round about the same time, so they're going to get up at the same time, meaning no one technically has any Uber advantage outside of just one medic building a little bit more poorly than the other. So froyotech once again have to try and do something to break this stalemate, and it seems like Habib is pondering the spy.
He does. And actually, I think he was switching his loadout off of maybe a pub loadout or something, which a lot of players are not going to notice that and then just walk out. Broken Dagger, Kunai, and Ambassador. But Habib does appear to be on the big earner. I'm not sure what the watch is quite yet. Okay, picked up ammo, so it's going to be Invis watch. And this is a nice point for Spy, because you can kind of just decloak out of sight, out of mind, and then just reappear through the shutter. We're going to see Freo go for a bomb. Habib just walks through the shutter. June, completely unaware, ends up dropping. And that's kind of a textbook example of why Spy can be so nice on this point.
Yeah, we are going to see if they have any response. Donovan kind of shoving lower with JT. JT managing to get behind, is actually going to find the pick on the Patty. Speedy as well. Both scouts in behind from Mongolz, forces out the Uber from froyotech, and they're having to go all the way back just to chase JT. Staying alive for so long right here, going to be able to get the pack, kind of forcing everyone on froyotech to go, and he actually tries to make the play onto Hubert. And that was just expert stuff from both the scouts on Mongolz, because now June is up. They don't have a lot of players. froyotech might still be able to bully their way in here, but at least now, even if they do, they are going to have Uber for last.
Yep. Donovan going to be bombing the door. Zam following up. Both soldiers weak now, so that's definitely going to open the doors for froyotech. Vanny just running through, and Speedy actually getting a little aggressive there. 2v1 ease with Vanny and Habib. They find another kill, but Hubert goes down. Zam able to find that kill. Being said, never mind. With more of Freo's combat players dying here, doesn't really have round implications anymore. June stuck in lobby here. Will be a full wipe for the red team. Still not going to be around because 2 needs to get capped off here. But scrappy fight to say the least. And Hubert actually spawned first. Didn't have someone to heal for a second, so I think the Mongols are maybe expecting this to be more disad than just 15. But yeah, we'll see if Froyo tries to pull kind of that same play they did earlier of position like you're going to take an Uber, but actually just peek the door and pressure and send sacks.
Yeah, it is very doable ad for froyotech, but they don't need to. I think there's some type of arrow building shenanigans as both soldiers sit very far away. Arrow building, not what it used to be, but I think it's still hypothetically,
It does
like in
still work,
certain
kind of.
cases, it's just not as good. And I think with that, they are going to try and go with it in as Zam get shot down a lot. A lot of cap on the point. They might just be able to cap it. No, Donovan
Oh,
bombs in,
man.
takes him down. They find one on the Hubert, but they have to protect the point. Artist absolutely nuking. And
Oh,
these
wow.
JT doesn't get there in time. And that is going to be the first map.
Yeah, that's crazy as well, because I think if JT actually stayed on engineer, then he would have had time to stop point and 1v1 the demo. But obviously, you don't know that's going to be the position. So you'd rather just be on a more consistent class. But yeah, that arrow building absolutely coming into play because June, keep in mind, it was 15 disad by the time June spawned. So you hard build that, and June was at 92% upon death. I mean, that 8% margin can make just a huge difference in whether that's a hold or not.
No, yeah, it definitely can. And Froyotech, they took every single possible advantage that they could, and it netted them the win 5-2. Just kind of quickly looking at the stats, it's no surprise. It's rare that he doesn't have a good game, but Banny having a very good game, 32 and 15 at a 2.0 essentially KD, and top damaging of the serve as well, 285. Kind of what you expect from him, everything considered. Shy Guy also doing a lot of damage for his team, but I think, Banny and Habib just showing that, he can play any class, scout, soldier,
Mhm.
demo. He's just a monster at it all.
Yeah, true. Let us out. Yeah, I'm looking at the wrong thing there. Okay, I've got the log open. I was okay. Yeah, this wasn't really as drastic as I expected, but it did feel like Hubert was dying more than June, and that is the case. Only two more deaths, which when we're in the numbers of like 12 and 14, it's not going to be as huge, but that's definitely been a focus of the Mongols, it seems. Just kill the fish, because Froyo, they can pull off a lot of crazy things, but no matter how good a team is, they can only do so much when they don't have heals to kind of rev the engine.
Yeah, I think we saw maybe a lot of times where that was the case, where Mongols just kind of got slowly picked apart when June wasn't there. And the same thing for Froyotech, actually. There were a couple of cases, especially on mid, where Hubert took a lot of early damage. There's one mid in particular. Hubert took a lot of damage, had to back up. And then everyone else on Froyotech became weak, and then they had to back up, and everyone on Mongols just took the ground. But if you're Froyotech, you got to be feeling good because this isn't your classic roster. So there's some things that were probably people might not necessarily exactly know. Loaf, artist, and Habib, because even though he's technically played scout for Froyotech, I think he's soldier now for this season. So a little bit of swapping going on that you just have to make sure you dot your I's, cross your T's, and all that thing. But as we head over onto Gullywash, in my personal opinion, of course, the Mongols, they aren't an actual team in terms of RGL. I do think, just kind of looking at their roster and what I know of those players, I think this next map, Gullywash, is probably their best opportunity to take a map off of Freya, because I think this is one of Donovan's better maps, and I think he can be so dominating, like just in territorial control over all over this map. And then same thing for Sai. I think he really excels here.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. This map is certainly going to favor Mongols more than something like Metalworks because yeah, Donovan, Sai, and honestly Zam as well. Zam did not. Um, I don't know if Zam had played Soldier in past seasons when I wasn't really that closely, or if his recent exposure in Invite was kind of his breakthrough as Soldier, but he's definitely been impressive class, I'll say. So I'm excited to see what the Soldier duo can do here on Gullywash. Patty and Loaf didn't seem to be doing particularly horribly on Metalworks by any means. I mean, Patty is kind of a soldier who just plays to enable his team, and Loaf is here just ringing. So we'll see what they can pull off on. I can expect to see maybe some Donovan shotgun on last, maybe some Sai peeking a choke point and destroying everyone, some of the theatrics like that.
Ooh, well, I think there's gonna be a little bit of a class switch up, a little bit of a
I see
roster
that. Are they
shakeup.
committing to this?
I think they might be because while I think in RGL the most recent seasons we've seen Speedy as a medic and now as a pocket scout for what is it, Jiminy now. I think for the remainder of the season he's going to be the pocket scout for them. He, at least as far as I know, Wild Rumbus, and feel free to correct me, I'm pretty sure he made his invite debut on Soldier. And I kind of attribute him with one of the first people to really popularize the Sunshine Fast rollout. Like he was one of the first people I saw doing that. So in my mind, he's a pretty innovative soldier. I don't know the last time he actually played the class in Invite, but I think if you're wondering, if you only know him from these past couple of seasons, you're like, wait, he plays medic, now he plays scout, now he plays soldier. He's a really good soldier. So not too surprising.
Yes, and all that glazing I did about Zam Soldier only for him to wind up on Scout, which still talented at, don't get me wrong, but yeah. We are rolling out to this first mid. Who do you have your eyes on?
Ooh, I think I've got it on side as he's going to be rolling out through big door. So maybe they're actually going to go and try and take the right side, do an opposite mid. No, they are going to turn around. Sai still on the low ground, not really committing. It's only JT and Speedy where you kind of expect everyone on Mongolz to be. And because of it, they kind of get taken down. They just linger over in big door. And froyotech, they have the high ground. They just shoot down at them and they take the first mid.
Yeah, then Froyo there. Well, actually, we see an immediate refight here from River, but Froyo are now on the doors, down a demo. I don't see too much happening, but that distraction got Donovan behind, and I don't think anyone knows. This is definitely a player who can get some value right now. Okay, seems to be aware. I think, yeah, they're checking mid. Okay, they've spotted him. Never mind, should be dying here. But yeah, even Uber's here on last.
Yep, even Ubers, and one of the things about Gullywash is, it'll be especially apparent on this with the but only one off-class rule is that this is a last that you can kind of pressure cook and break into so easily. As you see froyotech getting so much space, they're kind of baiting the cap. Loaf gets on the Speedy, getting an opening pick for the team as Habib is just there to stand on the point of a moment's notice. They have just so much space. Walking in, they find one onto Sai, causing so much chaos. They get the pyro out and to try and help defend Donovan on the banner to maybe see if they can use it to kind of help with the Uber situation as Banny kind of stuck over in River waiting for an arrow, is going to get it, just wants to take it in with Artist, but disconnected from the rest of the combo, is going to have to back up, and they weren't successful then, but they've got so much cap time, Rumpus, that if they do it again, they're probably going to be able to sneak it out under the Mongol's noses.
Especially since the gun is only now being constructed. Means it might be level 1 or 2. Sai, Jesus, 4 HP there. If Sai died, that would have been horrible, but instead Loaf will be going down. So that's definitely going to give Mongol some breathing room. But Sai now caught in Shutter. Just nice little timing there from Patty to get aggressive. I think he may have heard Sai setting traps or something to motivate that peak. But yeah, as you mentioned, I mean, only having one tier on Evans last Gullywash is definitely a little sketchy. You like to have a gun and a pyro, just bam in the evens. And as we're seeing here, that gun goes down. JT is now on sniper, down 3 for the Mongols, and Donovan gets dropped in the Uber. Man, and you have to imagine he was quite close to getting that banner, which I think Mongols basically needed to hold, because at this point, yeah, it's just going to be around for Froyo.
Yeah, it is going to be around for Froyo. They were so good at just slowly putting more and more and more pressure on that last point. Someone would go in and kind of jump around and bait someone to get a little bit too close, and then all of a sudden another froyotech player comes in, and then you got someone baiting the point, and then they just constantly kept everyone on Mongolz on their toes, and it didn't give them any room to kind of sit and get a proper defense up as we go in onto the next mid. Patty gonna be flying in super deep, landing on Sai, and Donovan is gonna be able to take down Sai, but Donovan and Speedy, soldiers finding one apiece, so they have a little bit of player advantage. Artist kind of stuck over and choke, finds one on the Donovan, is gonna get chased a little bit by Speedy, but should be able to get out. Habib is there to help protect his demo as Artist doesn't need any protection. He hits a nice pipe to be able to save himself, but still, that's going to be Mongolz in a good position.
Yeah, and honest, after Metalworks, Artist was complaining about how slow the pipes move on Iron Bomber compared to Lock, because he has been quite nice on the Lock, but showing that, yeah, he's still got it on Iron Bomber as well. One player to point out here is Habib, who is hiding behind Rock. Unfortunately, okay, well, Mongolz are starting to go now. They actually just pop through. Okay, so Habib is activating. Gets spotted here, so definitely gonna be dying. It's just a matter of if he can trade out or not. Does not get any value. Just kind of unlucky timing there. So Zam actually dying to a trap is nice for Froyo. And 70%, even numbers now turns in pick with Donovan going down. So Froyo gonna be refighting this, and Mongolz just leaving.
They are just going to have to give it up as they've just given up so much space. Sai peeking a little bit is going to be shot back, and everyone on Mongol is going to go over to the high ground. froyotech with a pretty sizable advantage. They're making their way through choke now. Banny already getting so much space as Zam is over in the forward spawn, just barely kind of class swaps at the right time to negate some of the damage headed his way. Donovan doing a lot of damage on Loaf. Not going to be able to find the trade as Mongolz. They have to go back as Banny is just steaming forward, is going to have the advantage, and they are trying to get in onto June. Now they have the Uber. They could have made a play at the last point, but they didn't have seconds, so now it's going to be a lot better for Mongolz. Yeah. JT finding two. Artist disconnected over in secret, and I mean, that was a very aggressive play from froyotech. If they had got the second cap, I think they might have been able to bait the point just immediately, but it was just a little bit too soon.
Yeah, just another case of Froyo getting kind of crazy on last and like full committing the whole team with no real thought to who's capping two. I don't know if that's actually the plan or if Habib's just kind of wanting to get in and get fragging. That being said, on this attempted fight on mid, 2 players go down for Froyo. Habib is on sniper as well, so no scouts for the blue team. Should be a straightforward dry push for the Mongolz. They are just going to go big door, worried about that sniper peek coming from choke. Donovan's going to clear out Habib, and very easy second point take from the Mongol.
Yeah, really, really good. Thing is, froyotech already have their Uber Hubert now at 99, 100%, and they is going to be able to flash on to Banny and save them. They do get one on the Beeb, a little bit of cap time as well. They find one onto Donovan, so it is going to be even trade now, especially, but froyotech, they lose one of Patty, so they might go back in the Mongol. Speedy gets absolutely denied in the sky. JT over on the low ground, trying to see if he can maybe find the pick on the Artist or Loaf. Finds neither, and side bombs and does find one onto Loaf and just barely surfs out the bullet damage from the heavy to get out through main. So froyotech successfully defending their last, but they might get a little bit aggressive here on second.
Yeah, I think Loaf finding that kill onto Speedy is kind of what secured things. Donovan trying to find a bomb timing here, landing on Habib. Nice arrow, actually. Gonna save his life. And some decent pressure here. Habib quite low. Yeah, there's some picks being collected. And actually, it's on Banny and Patty instead of Habib, who's getting out, able to get healed up by Hubert, but failed push out and now down 2. Habib might be caught here in main. Is caught. Down 3 now. And this is where Mongolz would love to just activate, get players on the point. Spawners are up, but still down Banny for the time being. But they're not doing anything. They're letting they're letting Habib spawn. I feel like this was potentially a missed opportunity to play the pick. It seemed like they wanted to just set up a really coordinated sack that took some time, but no, did not in fact end up happening.
Yeah, as they actually are going to go for the point play. They get a lot of point capture time, actually. And they find one on the low. Speedy and JT both go in, trying to sack in on the Hubert. aren't going to be able to find the force. So froyotech, they're in an awkward position. They can try and go forward. Sai absolutely sent sky high, not going to crater though, fortunately for the Mongols. But froyotech trying to use this, getting a lot of space. Sam might have to take the trade here, is actually going to get dropped from whatever potential Uber there could have been. So June now just going to have to completely back up. Sai might be caught in a little bit. froyotech have a lot of space. They're just peeking the choke, but no, the Mongols, they're going to completely back up on to mid. They should get their respawners in time, but just really great pressure from froyotech.
Yeah, and a lot more comfortable to be on second. And they're actually trying to peek choke here, but there are 2 soldiers on the door, so I don't expect it to go particularly well. Loaf is able to catch a bow and finds a kill actually on Donovan. He is at the moment stuck in banana, but no, Zam goes down to Habib, helping Loaf out. Now it's 2 kills. Uber gets taken in choke, and Hubert does kite that quite well, gets a much better use here. Banny's turning back for the JT pick, and that seemed to be the right decision actually, because there were so few players alive in front that June actually is caught to Habib. And yeah, the lose 2 on mid, take a desperate exchange, and then kind of wipe in the post. Not working out too well for the Mongols.
Yes, Donovan bombs the choke, is going to find one onto Banny. Hubert a little bit disconnected, but is going to be able to defend himself with a nice arrow. But Sai does find one onto Habib. They're trying to stay in a little bit with those picks and a lot of damage. They might be able to find Loaf, trying to just buy a little bit of time, not going to find the trade out. So froyotech, they still have advantage, but they don't have Uber just quite yet, so they weren't confident enough to just walk in. They're going to have to back up because of it. Speedy getting in through drop down.
It's looking like a successful push into mid so far. Speedy trying to bomb choke, but actually gets shut down. And JT might be next to go as well. June very weak as
Donovan.
well. Oh my god, Donovan finds Hubert. And now it's looking fantastic for Froyo. June can just bait and choke, ripping off bows. I mean, a bow could do all sorts of things. It can heal up Sai. It can kill Loaf. It can kill Artist. And yeah, June is just happy to live here. And honestly, Mongols are happy to just back out, as we're seeing here. Refight with their full Uber add into mid, and hopefully the next push will go a little bit better.
Yep, it is actually going to be Kritzkrieg out from the Mongols. June over on the Kritzkrieg, so maybe partially why it built. I mean, froyotech
here.
Yeah, I don't know if froyotech would know because they've had enough time to get the Uber anyways, but they are going to go inside peeking it. The crits has been used. It hasn't found anything. froyotech are just going to back up, but Artist might be caught in a little bit. No manages to defend himself. Nice air from Hubert to keep him alive. They want so much to get onto this medic. Artist now finally is going to fall. A lot of weak players on froyotech. They might lose this regardless. Patty just waiting for the arrow, but Stinky's coming in onto Hubert. Just so much damage. Patty almost barely craters to his death. No, JT wants to pick, doesn't find Patty. Zam does instead, but froyotech now, they still want to fight this.
Yeah, and they have the picks to do so. No scouts for Mongols either. And notably, Froyo knows that Mongols are stuck on crits. Oh my god, Donovan just getting completely annihilated there. Trying to bomb choke. Hubert does have Uber now, and yeah, Mongols would have loved to like crits out of River or something and get the force on 2. Instead, they're setting up crits traps. Interesting. I actually kind of like this play. Not something you typically see, but I mean, you know the other team has Uber, so you're just looking for a kill. Unfortunately, the det gets nothing. Donovan does go down. So far, so good for Froyo. And it looks like Sai is committed as well alongside Zam, and no one to stop point in time. And that will be a pretty straightforward round from Froyo. I mean, just Uber against crits.
Yeah, that was the Artist saying, y'all did crits traps, I'm done. So recognizing it, but no success there, unfortunately, for the Mongols. The Kritzkrieg not working out. But hopefully they're going to have a little bit more success as we go in onto the third mid. 2-0 for froyotech, 1-0 in terms of maps. The Soldiers, Patty, just going to be jumping around, fading away onto his this side. Both teams going to play their respective sides. Mongols not going for any weird we stay in big door type of thing as Loaf kind of gets shut down, trying to go up, drop down. Donovan finds that one, so it's going to be player advantage for them. Patty going to surf away the damage, barely managing to stay alive, and that's going to be crucial for froyotech as they are going to lose mid, but only lose 1.
Yep. And overall, I mean, pretty, I guess, non-consequential. I mean, it's a mid fight, but it's going to even out on this point is what I'm looking at. Loaf actually found a time behind. Oh, no. That's... I am getting confused on who is on whose side. Loaf is rolling out, in fact. Donovan dies, presumably going for the sack. So going to be counter sack now for Froyo. Looks like going to be peek and choke a little bit. The beam's actually rotating towards big door. Banny actually dying to a trap, peeking big door. So that is the counter sack. And it will be Mongolz returning the favor in big door and bringing heals over to pressure.
Yep, as JT is going to do exactly what Banny did, runs into a trap. And with Donovan going down, they do find the response kill onto Loaf, so they should be feeling a little bit safer at staying on mid. But Patty, walking down through drop down, might have the opportunity for the easy drop onto Juno. Instead, tries to focus down Zane with the rest of his squad. Is going to find that one. He does go down himself, but they've just given up so much space to Mongolz. Speedy isn't really able to find anything as well, manages to stay alive. So froyotech, with a very methodical push through big door, is able to take control of mid.
Yeah, that was kind of the trouble with the Mongolz positioning, is because they only had a kite on like the opposite side of point, at which point you're just on low ground for it can walk up, and there's not much you can do. Looks like Froyo is going to be rotating towards big door, trying to pressure that. Pretty classic setup. We do have traps on big door from side. No traps baby door. The Habib kind of peeking around. Players seem to have changed their mind, or they're just kind of sitting around getting players buffed. Habib wants to go. Okay, they bomb Loaf through, skips through. Makes some space. That buys Habib time to get in big door. Stickies do get det. Loaf is successfully behind now, and Habib is successfully behind.
They got a few players in behind, so if you're Mongolz, you got to keep a couple eyes wide open and all around the map. Donovan going up to the high ground, trying to take a little bit of a 1v1 with Loaf as Patty gets kind of stuffed a little bit. Both soldiers going to be going down. The Mongol soldiers winning their ones respectively, and Speedy has speed his way through all the way on the mid, but June going down. Habib finding that pick, and now it's got to be an all-in potentially from the Mongolz, but the all-in is really only Zame on mid and JT, and no one else is really close, but Donovan does lurk beneath the point.
Yeah, I'm sure this is something Banny can sniff out, right? Honestly. No, Donovan? Oh, yeah, Banny has sniffed it out. There you go. Gets dealt with. And yeah, Speedy almost had a great opportunity there if he was able to live behind. I wasn't actually watching Habib with the June pick, but obviously that was monumental here, because it's now 60 add into 2. Looks like Freya will be going big door, and they're finding a kill on Speedy as well. Still 40 add. If they want to just go right now, you know, Mongolz are down a soldier.
They are down a soldier, as that's a nice little skip jump coming in from Artis. It's just 2 pipes down side, and Banny immediately going to get a lot of cap time onto the point. No one's there in time. The heavy is powerful, but he is not quick, and that is going to be 3-0 for Freya.
Yeah, beautiful. And on those momentum pushes where you just get second and then go fast into last, I love doing like just a quick pogo in, as we saw Artis do. It really just presses the advantage of the momentum, and basically single-handedly won that last by securing the side.
Go in. Donovan playing the low ground. That's going to be Patty going very aggressively into the other team's elbow. Not going to find anything. Does find a lot of damage. Banny, however, does find Zam. Donovan, so weak lower, is going to manage to trade out with Loaf, and Speedy finding one onto Habib. Mongolz might feel okay to try and stay in here. Even better if they're able to get a pick. As they're trying to play the point, Speedy just kind of juggling around it. They don't have any soldiers, so they don't really have anyone to kind of close the gap and go for something, as Patty goes in and finds 2, JT and June. Patty with the amazing rockets, is now it's only going to be Sai and Speedy trying to do something. Speedy does find one onto Patty, but I think there's just too many froyotech players around protecting Hubert that any chance of anyone finding anything onto the fish is not going to happen. There is a late soldier bomb coming in, and that's going to get the force. That's going to be the silver lining.
Yeah, value. That being said, 10 seconds left on these soldier spawners, but as I say that, mid not even capped yet, so Froyo definitely should cool down here. They have no business doing anything until last, and very, very slight ad for June. Yeah, like I don't even know if this is playable. You just kind of have to pretend it's more ad, but Froyo were already in brick and they are stuffing the store. Regardless of how much ad it is or isn't, Froyo knows that June doesn't have it yet. However, the fight is definitely going in the Mongols' favor. They are getting way more damage. Everyone on Froyo is red HP. That being said, the kills are suddenly going in the favor of Froyo. So weak, double digits across the board, and yet all the kills go in favor of froyotech. And now they are in last. Sai is eating rockets. He is dying to the spawners. But I don't know if Froyo have enough gas in the tank to... Benny, yeah, just going down for cap time. It will be Hubert and Loaf just getting out of lobby.
And Loaf is in lobby, kind of wrapping around behind. Is going to be able to get some easy rockets onto June and gets the Force still hiding over in lockers. As this push out from Mongolz not going well, especially now with them losing Sai Loaf, managing to get that one, staying in behind for so long, and froyotech going to be able to come back in. Zam gets the Force out on the Hubert. That should be enough to buy some type of space, some type of breathing room for the Mongolz, but froyotech, they have player advantage. They want to use it.
There is a Pudis. Patty is going to trade out on point. Not horrible. Heavy dies as well. Yeah, Mongols are kind of falling here. Donovan will go down. It's just up to June. Don't think it's even possible for a medic to win something like that. If June and Donovan were able to link up on the point, maybe. You never. Yeah. Froyo are just finding kills in these team fights. And would you believe, getting kills in team fights makes you more likely to win them.
That is some wise words. Someone note that down and add that to the words of wisdom. As a Mongolz not having a good game, but Donovan, actually, both soldiers finding one apiece. Sam has swapped back in onto Soldier. He's had enough of this scout nonsense, and Speedy is here up on scout, trying to get in onto Hubert with the help of JT, just chasing them all the way back. Is going to find the pick onto the medic Habib, not able to win the 2v1 as a, they swap immediately and they immediately have success. I don't know if it's going to be enough success to get them a flawless 5-0 reverse sweep, but it's something.
Yeah, actually Juna is able to conjure up 20 ad here, which is nice. But that was an interesting mid for Froyo because you're double bombing your soldiers just to insta-kill the other team's medic. But you're also full committing your med across to the other side. So you're honestly like asking to get put in a position where your med is stuck behind against enemy players and, yeah, forced to fight back. The attempted fight here on 2 is very scrappy. Both teams losing their soldiers. Sai dying should be the last nail in the coffin. June is able to get out. Both scouts are going to stay in and die. Oh, man, Speedy on Hubert! And that wasn't even a milk. Hubert only at 60% couldn't have used. And look at this, Uber getting popped. The trap has been sprung and choked. Donovan has a lot of damage, but ends up getting juggled in and dropped. And that was a fully wasted Uber from the red team. And June is dead in the post.
Oh my god, Zam with the wraparound almost was able to get a lot of damage, but not enough to get the pick. Sai just kind of running in, a little bit of desperation coming out from the folks on Mongolz as JT is in a hiding spot by Big Door. Speedy is up on Sniper in the forward spawn. Donovan going for the super duper high bomb is not going to find anyone. A little bit of an off timing is now froyotech are ready to come in. Speedy is up on Sniper. They have spotted the soldiers bombing in to try and force him to swap back, and he is going to go back to last, trying to furiously build up the sentry gun, but froyotech looking really, really good to take this map 5-0.
Yeah, back against the wall for the Mongols. They are building the gun, but again, you'd really like to have like a gun pirate on this point. Evens, disad, what have you. They're actually going to be playing Sai close in water, and Habib might, ends up falling victim to that. So that is a nice pick to start off with. The fact that the traps were dead on point is kind of consolated by the fact that, Zam hiding in secret will help that out, able to find that kill, and despite all odds, Mongols are able to hold on here. Banny's staying in as well and does go down, which might be the nail in the coffin for Hubert, but no, hits a very important on Zam in order to save his own life. And Froyo get all their spawners, so you have to be a little careful about the push into the next point, as the Mongols could be some off-class shenanigans, or just be in different positions.
Yeah, they've got a good opportunity to try and mount a comeback. You see Sam working his way through low. They are going to use the Uber. They might just find Habib. Loaf is in behind, at least for the moment. They might know about it. They find one on the Habib, but froyotech they're playing so close, looking like they just want to get in. If they get any call at all that the Mongols are going back to chase Loaf, there is one. Donovan is going back, doing a lot of damage onto them as froyotech get ever closer to their Uber. They do have it now, but they just lost Loaf, so they don't have anyone to go for the collapse play. They're still thinking about it. They're taking a lot of damage over towards Choke. Habib is now here towards Big Door, but I think froyotech, they just waiting for someone to get a little bit too close. They find one onto Donovan. I think that's going to be the call to go in. They did a lot of damage onto Speedy, and they are going to go through drop down. No one's spotting it. They get in very, very cleanly. Sam tries to get the damage on the Hubert. 4 of Force isn't going to be able to make it happen just quite yet. Speedy wrapping around, trying to defend the medic. froyotech taking a lot of time with this. That June already has 80%. If they take any more, they might be able to stay in on mid, but they do get 2 very crucial kills. They get a third. Donovan trades out with Artist. No soldiers. Oh my god, he finds another over in Bachokin. Donovan is absolutely wreaking havoc. froyotech, they get the mid, but at what cost?
Yeah, I'm sure that if Mongolz had a scout there, they'd be looking to take an exchange, but unfortunately they just did not. Now Donovan probably on death's door. There are going to be spawners. He's actually sinking the spawn. Does find a trade. Okay, nice play from Donovan. In the meantime, the trade has been busted, and Sai finds a drop onto Hubert. Oh no. And now Mongols can just play comfy. They can play their heals, and they are going to... Banny is going to slip behind. Donovan is going to be getting a forward spawn. We might see a Donovan Banny 1v. No, Banny is trying to push now. He's going to run away again. Yeah, just kind of trying to waste time here as Mongols are going to push Choke.
They are trying to push Choke. Banny, just living in behind Loaf over in that forward spawn is froyotech. They're kind of holding on, and with that pick on the JT, they're going to feel a lot more comfortable staying here on second. Banny just drawing eyes, keeping Donovan distracted. Slowly just kind of forcing the Mongols into a worse and worse situation with soldiers in the air, neither hitting the air shot. Low just managing to barely get out there. Banny has so much cap time on the point, and now with the help of Patty, might be able to get it out. They do find it, as now they might just try collapse onto everyone's Mongols. They come back in through Choke. They only find one onto Patty. Banny still living over an elbow. It's just buying so much time, being such a nuisance that a scout has gotten in through lower. It's Habib. He walks forward, getting so much damage. Almost got the force or the kill, but now both Froyo scouts are down. They have to get on the second.
Yeah, and surprisingly, Hubert only at 60% here with the amount of time that was bought. I mean, when both your scouts are getting crazy, doing things, you're not going to be as effective at building. So at this point, they do finally build, and Hubert will be getting on last. But yeah, I mean, if they were building earlier, they definitely could have had a fight on 2. Sai caught to the Loaf Peak Shutter. Is definitely going to call off the sack. And Donovan now peeking Shutter as well. Trying to get maybe some value there. Froyo going to take lobby here in all likelihood. Oh, no, they're backing up. Oh, never mind. They're going river. Okay.
They are going river, and I think they thought about it, and they immediately said, wait, no, let's not. And they are back onto last. They were just going for a peek, seeing if maybe all the players on Mongolz had just kind of all at once decided to just leave the point. As there was a spy, there is a spy up. It is going to be Sai Guy. And once again, oh my, but Donovan with the drop onto Hubert. Absolutely insane. All of that chaos. You didn't even need the spy. JT is going to go down. And froyotech, they're not going to push out here, I don't think. Everyone on Mongolz is just going to back up. Sai is stuck onto spy here. And the thing is, like, you can understand the thought process. You just go for chaos.
He's kind of playing this like it's... Okay, no. I think this is Cloak and Dagger. Now, I feel like a big mistake you can make as Sai here is trying to kill Hubert. When it is so much ad for your team that getting like a demo kill, even a soldier kill. Soldiers are so valuable on Gully last. But if Banny's, like, when his gun goes down, switches off to heavy, a spy killing a heavy just almost always wins the last push. He's getting bumped by Artist, goes for the decloak, and isn't able to find a kill, unfortunately. But Banny goes down during the Uber. That is the pick that Froyo wanted, as Sai just getting shut down on Spy. Decent cap time. I mean, even picks overall. He is finding some more kills, but if this point can be pressured adequately, it's just going to be JT versus Artist. Now, Artist finds the pipe, just June versus Artist. Banny's on the way, rolling out. Unable to find their round. Artist on 2 HP there. Things were looking so close. If Sai just finds a kill, not that it was Sai's fault, or he beefed in particular, but just point being, very close last push. Any number of things could have gone a little better for Mongolz.
I mean, if Sai was on demo, I think they win that.
He's their demo. Okay, no, Sai did.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a horrible play then.
Yeah,
what
Sai,
are you doing?
I don't know. I mean, like, it didn't work out. Unfortunate. But, as I was kind of saying earlier, it's not the first time we've seen him try and go for this off classes. He did it in the RGL season match. I forget against which team. So definitely something that you got to be aware of if you're playing against, Jiminy or the Mongolz right now. But as we've kind of seen both times, your demo is just too important. But Mongolz being able to get Hubert means that it's not going to be that big of a disad. They are going to be at a little bit because June died a lot later than Hubert. Going to be 20 advantage for froyotech. Are they going to take it? Banny just peeking that door, seeing how far back everyone on Mongolz are playing, kind of seeing that they are playing pretty far back, and any Uber that they used wouldn't be able to find anyone, and it's too tight that Mongolz would just be able to immediately repop, and it'd be a lot worse for froyotech. So Zam up on Sniper trying to find a pick.
Yep. And the defensive sniper turned into an even Uber sniper. This is definitely a decent enough point to snipe into. The main dynamics are you want to be peeking big door and taking more space and a more aggressive angle big door. And as the defending team, you're really looking to just take an exchange if you can. If you can exchange in big door and force a lot of flashes, maybe even get a kill on that sniper. See that the exchange comes out and they find a kill on the sniper. Okay. No Uber gets popped from the red team, but the choke gets busted as well. Habib finding a kill. Gets traded out with Loaf. And yeah, a lot of space here for Froyo. Keep in mind, June lived. June didn't use Uber. So there's that to consider. Donovan is behind as well. Gets spotted, but having a soldier behind while it's disad, absolutely a scary prospect for Froyo. They might just full give up this.
He does it again. He does it again.
He does it again. Again.
Oh my God, that is a very unfortunate for Loaf, but it did technically still get the trade, so no harm, no foul, I guess. Habib runs in, tries to take down JT, not going to be able to find the pick. As froyotech pressuring a little bit, but they're at player disad and Uber disad. I think they're just going to have to give the point up as they do back out, as they can go a little bit far further here, the Mongolz. They do have advantage, but Hubert already at 90. Habib up on Sniper, just trying to make their day worse with a headshot, and he gets it, drops June. And now if you're Mongolz, you have to decide, do we all in and try and get the pick onto Hubert, or do we just all back up? Seems like they're trying to go for some sneaky plays. They got a few players over by Big Door, but at least for the moment, they're just going to back up and wait until froyotech push in.
I like Donovan's positioning here because this is not... Oh, never mind. Against Banny, it gets cleared, but against most players, it does not. And I wonder if Banny was actually clearing for a player or just traps with that. JT actually dies as well on the door, and Zam's going to be caught. All these rats hiding in corners, trying to make plays, but they all, one by one, get picked apart. Now Froyo, with their 3 kills, are going to proceed forward. Habib is actually going to be locking out the forward spawn. Usually you see players sniping out of this. We're not into it. And Donovan actually gets headshot. That is a late soldier death. Keep in mind, mid hasn't been capped, so these players are stuck in forwards. We do have Zam on Sniper, but yet again, another kill on the forward spawn. And JT might be dead on last by the time this push comes out. There's no gun. Yeah, depending on how this push goes, this might just be a Froyo. Oh wait, never mind. Ubers have evened.
Yeah, Ubers have even as they're going in aggressively to get on the Hubert. froyotech was not expecting that whatsoever. They're going to find another onto Habib, the super aggressive Uber from Mongolz, just kind of walking in through lockers. It's only going to be Loaf and Patty. The last one's left alive, and both are going to be taken down. A complete wipe. froyotech all being sent to the respawn room, and that is the kind of aggression, the kind of playmaking you need if you are the Mongolz right now. You just got to send it in and just go in when froyotech don't expect it.
And Zam alone was enough to scare the Froyo members into back spawning. They had 3 players there and heals. Zam was definitely not enough to hold that. And does end up going down, but confirms that Habib is sniping the forward. So Information gained, I suppose. Donovan is going to actually end up dying here. And that means no soldiers for the red team trying to dry push against a sniper. Yeah, they are just going to have to use. I think that was probably sniper damage on June. Artist was hoping that the forward could get open. It's not so, but fight gonna be going better for Froyo with June going down. They are down combat. So I'm gonna try and send it in. Psy bombing in. Is this collapse gonna be good enough? Good damage here. Danny is so close to dying, but Zam ends up going down 10 HP on Hubert, and Speedy through lobby is able to find that kill with 96% left, or 96% on Hubert.
Yeah, that was just so much damage headed up over in that top area, and they were finally able to get the pick, the most important one. Now they are going to have a very slight Uber advantage. June just having a tiny bit more is not going to be enough to really do anything with, unless they're just in the wackiest of positions, or froyotech forget to build, which, judging by where they are not. They're playing as if it's a lot bigger advantage on them than it is, but seems like they're just trying to go in with the dry fight. Zam bombing all the way and doing a lot of damage on the Hubert. Nicer from Hubert to be able to stay alive. They take down both soldiers, and they're really far committed for this on the Mongolz. Loaf bombing the choke point, finds one onto Speedy. It's only going to be 3 up for the Mongolz, and they're going to have to give up mid. They're going to back up all the way onto second side. The last one through big door as Loaf bombs in, and froyotech, they just cleaned up all the bombers and are able to get mid off of it.
Yep. Beavers are going to be evens here on second, but they're perfectly happy to have the midpoint now. And they just get to cook. They get to do kind of whatever they want. Everyone on the red team is buffed up here. Just going to be holding pretty standard stuff. Oh, they actually build check through choke, and Froyo's just not really there. Hubert maybe could have milked a little bit, but you really can't fault just an insta-use here. It's going to, in all likelihood, go well for Froyo, I would imagine. Okay, they find 1 kill, which it's fine, but the other team doesn't have Uber, which means you can get maybe a little more aggressive because you're just not going to get punished by the other team popping. And Sai actually peeking into choke rather than just try and hold it ends up dying. Pieces are falling for Mongolz. The flank is very active. They're already in lobby. June has nowhere to go. Is going to be caught. Now only 2 up for the Mongolz. Am is getting sprayed out with Habib. Just Donovan on last. Sai is now a spawner, and Sai is bombing in. Trying to catch a timing main there. Going to be hiding. No traps on the point. Looking pretty dire for the Mongol.
Sai in a demo 1v1 with Artist. Artist is going to be able to win that one as froyotech. They're just in on last. They've got so much space. They got the player advantage. Speedy does manage to find Tua, actually, but it's going to be him against the world. And he just doesn't have any health. froyotech, they got Uber, and that is going to be the 5-0 for froyotech. A lot closer, especially in that last round, than maybe the scoreline would necessarily suggest, but really at no point did you ever doubt froyotech would walk away with the victory.
Yeah, and we were expecting this to be a closer map than Metalworks, but it was actually the exact opposite. Froyo, to be fair, there were multiple opportunities or at least I know one for sure, really good opportunity for Mongolz to win the round. Fortunately, their demo was on Spy. But yeah, still definitely more dominant from Froyo here than Metalworks, which maybe indicates that as far as these two teams are concerned, the slower, steadier, more methodical maps, ironically enough, or maybe unexpectedly enough is a better word, ends up favoring the Mongolz.
Yeah, it's just seemed like froyotech's ball game that whole entire time, and the Mongolz were just visitors. Unfortunate for them, but just kind of quickly looking at the stats, it is a 5-0, even though it was a close 5-0. It went over 30 minutes, so it wasn't like it was just a froyotech roll. So there's a little bit to be gleamed here. Artists doing insane amounts of damage, having a really great game, actually. 33 and 10 from him,
Yeah.
which is an insane stat line for any class, but especially a demo. Sure, it's Gullywash, but still, that's a really great game from Artist.
Yeah, I will always take opportunities to glaze Artist because he is the GOAT. But I don't know. Froyo just seemed very confident there. I didn't notice, did Speedy and Zam actually did switch back. They actually played the majority of their of the game on the classes we saw in Metalworks. I kind of miss that. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think Froyo just kind of seemed like the better team here, all things considered. What was nice is that Hubert was cleaning things up as well and able to stay alive more often. This time around, he is going to be dying fewer times than June. And overall, fewer deaths between both medics. So those 2 deaths is proportionally a little higher. I'm noticing a lot of drops actually between the both of them. 2 drops from June and 3 from you.
Yeah, it's a lot for kind of a typical what you'd expect kind of invite matchup. But I guess maybe that's partially just these teams being a little bit of a mix in terms of their chemistry and everything like that. And I guess also for June, you can maybe cut her a bit of slack because, as we said, Medic not the worst class to play at high ping, but just as anything in this game at high ping is going to be affected a little bit. So
Mhm.
maybe a little bit of slack to be shown there. But regardless, froyotech, they take it 5-0. They're looking really good, as froyotech does. Um, and we're going to be going in onto the third and potentially last map of this best of 5 grand finals, which is going to be Snakewater. If you're a Mongolz fan, there's still hope for them. They just have to win 3 maps back to back to back, which is doable, but it's going to be a lot of work.
Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like Ferrero's going to have plenty of strong plans on mid. That being said, I mean, okay, I am very curious from this pregame lineup because if we are actually seeing June Soldier, Speedy Medic, Zam demo, that might indicate that Mongols have maybe just given up. We'll see if they actually run it with that lineup. But yeah, I mean, Freya's definitely going to have some solid plans on mid. Um, obviously, soldiers can do a lot as far as your pacing and the value you get on mids are concerned. Because even if your mid plan is just like double bomb walk forward and like the walk is bad or the timing's bad and all sorts of stuff is bad, like there's always the possibility that your soldiers just hit their at the other team's like you can just leave and be happy.
Yeah, there is always that possibility. Just send it in with the double bomb and see what happens. Yeah, it seems like some more kind of class switch ups coming in on the Mongols, as I think they are at least going to go for it probably for the first mid. So your new Mongols roster is going to be Speedy on Medic, which he's been playing throughout the majority of last season and a little bit of this season. So that's not going to be too unexpected. You're going to have Scion Scout, which same thing. He played all of last season, a little bit of this season. So once again, not too unexpected. Donovan on Soldier, June on Soldier, which I know nothing about June Soldier at all, even if they were an amazing soldier, which, perhaps they are. I don't follow them in ETF too well. I will be completely open and honest with that. They're playing at insanely high ping, not just like, oh, classic West Coast 70 ping, sad zone type of thing. They got like 100 plus, they're all the way from Europe. So, I mean, if they can make this roster work in comparison to all the others, then more power to them. And then finally, you're going to have Zam on demo, which I'm sure Zam has played demo before in like invite pugs. But I listen, it could be the magic that they need. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. Um, okay. I do hear a direct hit actually. I think that's June. And that's actually a funny anecdote because obviously the lock and load is even banned in this event, but was somewhat recently popularized in North America, I guess within the past few years. And one of the early adopters, from my perspective at least, was Hedgehog Hero, who played using it on the Goblin Zone. And his motivation for running that was because he moved, I think, to the West Coast or something, basically moved further away from Chicago. And equip the lock and load to, in his words, like make up the ping difference, right? And I wonder if that's a similar motivation here for June running the same thing. Looks like the classes have been switched up to a more formal roster. June back up. Speedy Donovan soldiers, JT and Psy on scouts. So still switching some things up with Sam here and depth.
Yeah, still going to be a swap up, but, you know, aside from Zam on demo, you could see this as a Jimmy roster basically for the season. So we're going to have to see how it works out. Zam going to be rolling out in a little bit of a demo exchange with artists as we get started on this mid. Going to get some early damage on the froyotech combo as now everyone else arrives in onto mid, but soldiers going to be a little bit aggressive. Actually, Donovan going immediately for the bomb. Oh my God, Donovan with the amazing air shot onto Hubert. That's a way to open up a mid right there. They have to keep June alive. They are going to lose JT. It's only going to be Psy escorting June out to safety. They should be able to do it. June kind of getting held up on one of the things just a little bit, actually lagging around a lot. So that's going to be as much of a nuisance for her as it is for froyotech trying to bomb in onto her. But I mean, that air shot from Donovan was spectacular.
Yeah, Donovan's on NG as well, which is weird. I guess just anti-backcap gun, it looks like, expecting a shove. Okay, interesting. Mongolz probably have to pop out here, which sucks, but it's Snakewater last. They're kind of indicating, okay, will be a double sticky through bridge. And Hubert might be caught. It's a ton of damage. Artist could be caught as well. It's just a 1v1 with him and Artist, which Artist is going to end up winning, actually. And the gun is, in fact, lower lobby. I don't know if Vanny died to that or not, but things are not going well for them. Donovan actually pushed forward, built a new gun on 2. Speedy with a nice little air shot on Artist is really strictly consolation for what is now full disad on last with Habib already on point.
And yeah, they're just going to use the Uber. Zam getting absolutely knocked over towards the spawn door. Does manage to take down Habib, and Psy does come up to try and block June as well, doing everything they possibly can. Loaf is just going to shoot the ground, get some easy damage and some kills, and that's going to be the first round for Froyo.
In pretty swift fashion as well, only 2 and some minutes. Which, keep in mind, Hubert getting completely exposed on mid, being able to just turn that back and still score a quick round. It's definitely good and nonetheless bodes well for Froyo. But that was indicative on the last mid that, yeah, your soldiers can kind of just hit your shots and things can go well in theory.
Definitely, yes. We do have the direct hit out. June is up on Soldier, is going to be swapping over with Speedy. So I have to see if that can do anything. Donovan is all the way in behind, wrapping around, is doing a lot of damage to Patty, not enough to get the kill. They have a lot of space over on mid, the Mongolz. June with that direct hit, doing a lot of damage to Loaf, but not going to be able to find the kill herself. She's going to go down, and that is going to be another mid for froyotech. This time, they did not have to lose Hubert to get it, and they're going to be making their way in on the second.
Yep, and both meds have Uber here, so we could see an exchange if Froyo get... Yeah, they are getting crazy taking this exchange. No use yet. Now it will be Speedy popping. June is still dead for the time being. Side very weak, just barely able to catch a flash, but JT dying in the post gets traded out with Habib and Loaf. Down goes Zam, but still, picks generally going in the favor of Mongolz. If Psy can stay alive here, then things are going quite nice. Donovan actually on Pyro, which... in a position like this, really not a terrible class to have. I mean, you can just force a lot of afterburn, apply a lot of pressure, and we might see a dry push from the Mongolz.
We might see a dry push. He's getting some flame damage onto Artis and to Hubert as these direct hits.
Yeah, like Hubert's down to 70 now.
Yeah, it's actually kind of deadly. The spam coming out from the Mongolz, but just not going to be able to do enough to get the kill. Oh, are they going to go in with the Uber on the flog?
Yeah,
it could. As they go in, they do find one onto Artis, and that might be enough to be the opening that they need, but Habib onto Speedy immediately nullifies all of that. Zam, he finds another onto JT. This man is insane, and I mean, there is one off class. There's one class that's better than all the others, and it's just a sniper hitting their shots.
Yep. Honestly, well played, Flog. Trading out with the demo there, not too bad. But Froyo probably just going to win around here. We do have the Brass Beast on point, so that's something that needs to get dealt with. That thing could get arrow tanked to high hell, but June does get headshot by Habib, and Zam bombing in on demo, mind you, ends up going down. 2 kills before the Uber even gets popped. Probably doesn't bode too well for the Mongolz, as it will be Speedy on medic, last one alive, unable to get to point in time. And yeah, 2-0 lead now for Froyo.
Yep, 2-0 lead. froyotech looking really, really good. And you can just kind of see that, the Mongolz, they're trying everything in their bag. They're reaching out for wacky ideas and strategies, something that might throw froyotech off. But froyotech holding strong, not giving in, and being able to kind of flawlessly get 2 rounds. But we've got a different strategy. We've got the direct hit, but we also have the Beggar's Bazooka coming in from Donovan. He's going to go for the bomb, and Hubert just immediately backs into Saw and is going to be at no risk to that. Zam also gets taken down, and that is going to be froyotech once again with another good mid win.
Yeah, that's what I would have did. That's the technique. And the Beggars is just high bombing. Just leave. He is full committed. He is going to die. Just don't let yourself be a victim. Look at this little double scout action here, lobby. Interesting. If Froyo tries to enter lobby through lower, then they're in for a nasty little surprise. And that might just be the case. Ooh, Habib. Oh, yeah. No, they don't peek. Okay. And that door was trapped, so I wonder if Froyo heard them or something. Well, time to skedaddle now, back to last. Habib saying he shit himself in chat.
I don't blame him. That's a scary sight. You round a corner, you see 2 scouts and a medic, or we're just waiting to take an Uber. But there is going to be a soldier back on last. It is going to be Loaf doing a lot of cap time, but not enough to get it.
Wait,
is going to force everyone. Yeah, Hubert did drop. Everyone else on Mongolz just pushing in. Helps get the drop. There's only 3 up from froyotech right now, because they're kind of all still over in lobby. Patty by the shutter, just kind of waiting to get the drop onto someone. Is going to make his way forward. Not going to be able to win the 2v1 on last, and that should be enough for Mongolz to actually push out of their last on the second.
Yeah, 100%. Speedy still has ad as well. It'll be 60 by the time this point is capped, and Mongolz denied 3 players as well, which means if they're fast in the mid, then it should be a free point. Loaf trying to find a sync timing there, but definitely early. And it will be Mongolz just popping through. Hubert is caught. No one to help him escape. And he does find a kill onto Donovan. But looks like the crunch lower. This is definitely an ambitious fight from Mongolz, because Benny now on the flank with the back cap. Even back cap aside, which was ultimately successful. June trying to take this fight. There's a spawner on last, so I don't think this will be around. But yeah, that aggro peak lower lobby was, I don't know. It was definitely trying to get everything, trying to have the cake and eat it too.
Yeah, they tried it, but unfortunately they could maybe only bake the cake, didn't have a chance to eat it. But their froyotech going to be coming in onto second. Unfortunate for Donovan, because I think he was AFK, or maybe lagging out a little bit and saw when Benny got the kill. But still, as they kind of once again kind of bully their way over into lower, Loaf gets it onto the medic. Great stuff from him. Might burn out and is going to burn out to the Donovan Man Melter. You don't see that one too often. Normally it's like the flare gun. Actually, no, I think it is the flare gun. As we have the Liberty launcher. June absolutely nuking. But no, Patty with the regular rocket launcher is actually going to get the kill. 3-0 for froyotech, as at the moment, they're just unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see this going any other way. It's just a matter of what happens in the meantime, right? Zam is rolling out to mid on Sniper as Donovan taking the demo mantle. Otherwise, other classes are going to be the same. And it will be Demo Knight. Donovan has shown some propensity for the katana. I think he has been spotted with that shield. It's going to be a double soldier shove, in fact.
Oh, my June absolutely nukes Habib. Absolutely destroys Habib. That was one of the most insane air shots I've seen in a competitive matchup because June was on the Liberty launcher with the base jumper, gets Habib mid-air, both of them high in the sky. That is that's a unique one at the very least, as somehow they win the mid.
Yeah, somehow the Demo Knight team just wiped the other guys on mid. Sometimes things like that just happen. There's definitely an element of variance. It will be Sai actually eating a nice little rocket there, but ultimately living in Donovan with the charge. Finds a kill onto Loaf, who was probably not expecting a screaming demo with a sword to be at him. And it's ad now for the Mongolz. They don't have stickies. They're taking their Uber with the demo regardless. We're going to see the charge in, getting extremely juggled by Artist, who will be living. But Hubert might be caught here. No, is able to duck it. Down goes Donovan. Zam died as well. All for the consolation of killing Patty. June will be going for some base jumper shenanigans, but there is a scout here, so that's going to shut that down. Actually surviving. Able to secure a rocket on. Getting a bow as well and live. Nope, never mind. Spoke just too soon there. Crazy play there from June.
Yeah, I mean, she almost lived, which is more than she had any right to. Just kind of base jumping around as Sam goes in, actually gets the headshot on the Patty, but not enough to get the kill. Patty with that just slight bit of a extra health to be able to stay even. And Donovan bombs in with the katana, not able to find anything. Zam playing super close, trying to see if he can maybe get the shot off on to Hubert, but not able to find that one. As Speedy takes a bit of damage, able to surf out the safety. We do have June high in the sky, actually gets the force.
Yeah, just juggled Hubert, so he couldn't avoid the second rocket, by which point the third is very easy to hit. You just kind of have to use
oh my
charge
Donovan.
kill. Open the door, Zam, no! Donovan ends up going down because Zam back in.
They actually used their Uber.
The chaos is honestly going pretty well for the Mongolz. I still expect this to be a 5-0, don't get me wrong. But, yeah, I mean, the chaos is going all right. As long as they can just kill Hubert on a somewhat consistent basis, that things are going to be just mud.
Yeah, it is just going to be absolute chaos because they are just kind of walking at froyotech and just saying, all right, you kill us then. And then they're able to get trades and wacky things, keeping them off guard. Kind of reminds me of another froyotech matchup versus the Bugs that had similar levels of hilarity going on. But Psy Guy kind of over in kitchen, not going to find any success there. Donovan sneaking, lurking over in lower with the Demo Knight katana in hand, but it's actually going to be Zam with the body shot onto Banny. Donovan has the opening onto Hubert, and he goes for it with the melee, and he's going to get it. That's a couple of swipes, and Hubert is taken down, made into sushi, as it's just going to be Speedy and June on last.
Okay, it looks like Habib is going to cap. He really didn't want to there. I don't know. This poor fish is just getting focused and in the midst of all the chaos, unable to stay alive. Patty did make a play on last, and I'm surprised to see a second shield bash kill here from Donovan. Yeah, that's lovely to see. Artist actually caught in lobby as well, so Froyo getting a little crazy into last. End up losing a bunch of guys and losing the point as a result. Oh, but definitely keep your eyes on Donovan here, who has found a nasty little flank. Getting some chops in on Banny. Hubert could have been, could have been the pick there, but Donovan, I think, deciding that the Banny kill would have been funnier, went for that instead.
Yep, not able to find it. Unfortunate for Den. As the crits comes out with the Liberty launcher, maybe they go for the base jumper. Actually, no, just instantly directs Artist in the face. So they do find one, but there is going to be some froyotech players going for the back cap. It's going to be Habib on the point, bringing so many people back as Love comes in to help him out, and they just clean up two. They do find one onto Love. Habib rushing forward, tries to get, and onto the medic, doing so much damage, finds the pick onto Speedy, managing to stay alive as well with the winger. Should be able to find another onto Donovan. It's just Habib frag move. He gets the melee kill onto JT as Habib cleans house.
Yeah, Hubert, that was a drop, unfortunately. It might not even matter. Yeah, I think it's around anyway. Honestly, I feel like Hubert can just use there, and you're just guaranteed a win because the other team's in the process of wiping. But nonetheless, no harm, no foul, I suppose. And yeah, Mongols are absolutely, they're running, okay, they were not running double. Instead, they're going, I was going to say standard classes, but how standard can it be when you have a Demo Knight and a Trolldier? It will be Patty playing heavy to mid, which I think is actually like an informed choice trying to win here, because for just the full send that Mongols have been doing, just having a Pudis ready for them to run into would be nice. Fortunately, Zam goes for a play early, and I noticed he died with a katana. It was not a Trolldier, rocket with a katana. Interesting. So Patty unable to really do anything as the heavy to mid.
Yeah, don't know if they even know about Patty on heavy yet. That's going to be nasty surprises. Donovan, oh, he just takes down Habib. Habib went down, and Donovan immediately swings into him. Donovan getting his pick. Demo is a pick class confirmed. You saw it here. Not first, because it's been done many times, but you saw it here as a Donovan finding that one on to Assassin. Now, froyotech over in Saw, Patty just waddling his way into
dropped
it.
out window. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Off the top rope. KJT goes down. June goes down. Uber gets popped. There's a Pudis here, so this Uber is probably not going to go well for the red team. As I say that, though, they find a kill onto Artist, but now the combo is stuck behind against a team with a Pudis, mind you, which is also kind of a hard counter, or hard countered by a heavy. Yeah, Froyo in a very dominant position, to say the least here. Zam going in. There's still a Pudis. There's a Demo Knight here and a Medic, but there's still a Pudis. So I don't know what you can possibly achieve here if you're the Mongol.
Oh, Artist with the melee of his own is able to bomb in, takes down, I think, Donovan. And, oh, Hubert getting his frag on the JT. And I think this might be curtains. I don't know if anyone expected it. Somehow, froyotech have been able to get in despite all the odds. They've come back. As Zam gets a reflect kill onto Loaf just for good measure, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Donovan finds one on the Banny just from spawn, but the power of the heavy is too much for Mongolz to deal with, and in a intense nail-biting game that went down to the wire rumpus,
yes,
froyotech are going to be our winners.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, I mean, Mongols absolutely made Froyo work for it. And I can't help but point out, they were obviously just trying to kill it. And we're pretty successful in doing that. I haven't looked yet. But notably on the scoreboard, usually a medic winds up at the top just because as a med, you get points for healing. And usually it's pretty easy for a med to just get points and kind of find their way to the top of the scoreboard. Hubert is in the middle behind both Banny and Habib, which is kind of a testament to the fact Mongols were just kind of not letting him play very much.
Yeah, they weren't as it's kind of hard to. I looked at the logs and then I was looking at froyotech. I was like, yeah, this makes sense. This makes sense. And then I scroll down to the Mongols one and it's just off class city. And it's like, wait a second. So not, it's just kind of one of those chaos games where, the Mongols, they did have some genuinely kind of good plays and some actually really hype moments. I mean, June's air shot onto Habib is a really, really sick. But I mean, froyotech, by the time they kind of got to the third map, they just looked so in charge and so dominant that it really wasn't in doubt. So froyotech, they are going to be your winners of the oh god, I'm blanking on the name. On the Quick Esports League in Season Cup. They're the winners of that. They walk away with 350 big ones. And if you're feeling bad for the Mongols, don't feel too bad. They still got 200 big ones as of of course, if you like what you see, check out Quick Esports League and see what else they're going to be doing. I think this was to try and test some of the off-class stuff and the weapon restrictions. So that's cool. And of course, this was partially sponsored by Full Buff GG, where you can get TF2 servers for as low as $8 a month. Sounds like a steal to me, as froyotech have been able to get the win And I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Mr. Wild Rumpus, any closing comments, final words, and shout outs?
I guess I can comment on the sort of rule set here because I like weapon bans or whatever. I mean, we've played with and around those for years and years, but off class limit of one is an interesting choice that definitely changes things. Um, because for starters, I mean, holding last is just an inherently more difficult prospect. Usually, double off classes favors defensive play on last. You don't see too often like the spy sniper to break a hold or double spy stuff like that, which is a rarity but still happens. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting thought because you make the game a little faster paced, I suppose, and easier to score rounds into last, but also miss out some of the like class synergy and interactions that you can see with those double off classes.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I like the idea of having just one off class, and it does make last holds a lot more difficult for the defending team, which just kind of promotes aggression and leads to more action, which is what we like in the game. You know, more stuff going on instead of just sitting in a stalemate. And especially on Gullywash, we saw how easy it was for froyotech to break that with only having to deal with one off class at a time. But hopefully we'll see this again, maybe in another cup, maybe RGL will do one, or quick esports league will do something as well. But for tonight, that's going to be it for us here at Fireside. froyotech are your victors of the QEL in season cup. Come back next time for some more TF2 action as we, cover the season and everything like that. But my name's been Tcmano, joined by the amazing Wild Rumpus CEO on production. Good night, buy the merch, and have a good time. See ya.